Recently, we have seen a lot of suicide cases amongst children who are very young, and they're going to the boarding schools or they are in day schools. And the reason of these suicides have been bullying in school by their peers, by their seniors, or by the teachers. Bullying is a vicious cycle. And this cycle doesn't end just in education institutions, but it continues till much later. Even today, somebody of our age can be bullied in their organization where they're working, organization in which they are a part as a volunteer or something. So bullying is going on. But the seed of bullying is planted early. And now we can see that so much of bullying is happening in the schools, and children are taking the extreme steps because they are not able to figure out how they would survive in such circumstances. In 2023, more than 18,000 student suicide cases happened in India, and they were because of bullying, caste discrimination, and some other factors. In the recent cases that have come to light, we saw this case of a student from Arunachal who is Tado Haru, just 12 years old, who jumped off the building because he was bullied by seniors and very badly. And this child had even written a note and he tore it off. And just look at the amount of trauma he must have undergone. Similarly, the case of Amira, which has come up, it's in a school in Jaipur, where this girl had complained to the teachers a number of times that she's being bullied by her friends and her classmates. And nobody really cared. She even informed her parents. So here the role of parents is also very important. Then another case has come to light where this boy, he jumped in front of a train in Rajendra Nagar, and he also wrote in his suicide note that he had taken these extreme steps because he was tortured by his teachers. He was singled out every time for every little thing he did. So if you look at your own life, you must be also seeing certain incidences in your life where you were bullied. I have been bullied in school. I was rather miserable when I was in school, and I still remember one day when I came back and I was crying in front of my mother, telling her that I would not want to go back to school because these girls were really calling me names and all of that. And my mother took a step. She went to the school and she complained to the administration, and by good luck or whatever I would say, the school took action. So those days, that was so long back, maybe in 1989 or even before that, bullying and all were not something which was discussed. It was rather considered something like teasing. So there's a very fine line between bullying and teasing. So if somebody is bullying you and you're telling others that I'm being bullied, I'm feeling very bad, or I'm really not liking what is happening, or I'm not able to deal with such thing, somebody may just tell you that, oh, they're just teasing you, or they may not pay any attention, be it your parents, be it people be it anybody whom you have confided in. But actually this small hairline difference that is there between teasing and bullying, how it takes the form of bullying and how malicious it becomes, we don't even realize. And now we can see the consequences of these. We've always heard about, suicide cases which are reported from the IITs, from, top educational institutions in India. Why is bullying prevalent in our education institutions still? Why? Now, where are the anti-bullying policies in these schools? What are they doing to address them? Why are the teachers not responding to a child who is complaining about being bullied. What is happening? I work in the early childhood sector and I deal with children in the early childhood years. But I have seen that bullying, which is in early childhood parlance, generally said as teasing or labeling. When we started, because such little children, we cannot really think that they can even come up as a bully. So we say that, oh, he's labeling his friend and all of that. But it starts from early on. Let us look at some of the traits that we can identify in our preschools. That is the beginning and the first step of bullying, or the first seed of bullying that is starting in these preschools. We need to nip it at the bud. Welcome to the Mockingbird Show. Let us discuss bullying in the early childhood years. Like I said, there's a very fine line of difference between teasing and bullying, and also labeling. So in these early childhood institutions and preschools, we can generally see that children are named Motu, Patlu, Kalu, and all of that. So many times we take it as a joke, like somebody's just calling him out names just because he's so cute or he's so dark, so they're giving. But the impact it has on the child is immense. Now sometimes these things are also done by the educators. They take it very lightly. They do not think about the consequence that the child is facing because of these names that are being given to him. Also, I clearly remember in one of the classrooms where I was visiting, and I heard from the class teacher that we have this particular boy who is always abusing his teachers when they give him to write, and he would say that I'll throw you to the jail, or my parents will call the police because we are very powerful. That is also in fact a case of bullying, because the child is trying to create a fear. Now, when we call the parents to understand what was actually happening with the child, that he was saying such things to his own class teacher, the parents said that they have seniors, elders in the house who would scold the servants with such kind of threats. As a result, the child has learned that. So a bully is actually not born a bully. A bully develops these things through the environment they are in. If they have parents who bully others, they see them as an example, they pick it up. Sometimes a child who becomes a bully is somebody who is bullied themselves at home or in some other circumstances, and when they see somebody who is little weaker than them, they start bullying the child. So bullying actually is not something which comes with us as an inborn trait. It is something which is picked up from the environment. So in order to nip bullying from the bud, we need to tell children about love, tolerance, empathy, understanding the difference between one another, loving each other, and so much more. So all these things have to be instilled in the child from the beginning, when the child is only in their early years, because the early years are the most important years in a child's life, and so much of the personality is formed during these first 8 years of a child's life. So we need to stop bullying right from the start, and in my upcoming episodes on bullying, I will be talking about what, whom, how, where bullying happens, and how can we as informed citizens, as educators, stop this menace from the society and save lives of children who have been victims of such a bad practice that is going on openly in our educational institutions. So stay tuned and be a part of the Mockingbird Show, and tell us your stories about bullying. I would start a campaign on anti-bullying, and in this campaign we would want to hear your voice. we want you to unmute. So let us come up with our stories and let us try to understand the seed of bullying and kill it right from the beginning. Thank you for joining me today, and see you next week with an episode on this very, very crucial topic, which is bullying.